The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, the Black Tea Party, featuring weekly discussions on political news and current affairs. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, the Black Tea Party.
Hi, is our song playing?
Yeah, sure is.
I didn't wear my headphones today, you guys, because, got a new haircut for the new year. No, I'm just kidding.
Stacy 2015 model.
You're in the flesh, just
That's
kidding.
a pun and a compliment.
Thank you so much. I miss this team. Happy New Year, you guys. We're back.
Happy New Year.
We're not all back, but we're trickling it in. So,
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good.
Great
You?
to see you. I'm good.
Was
So
in Vegas.
good.
You were in Texas.
Texas, Vegas. Wow, you
I'm
probably
from
have-
Vegas.
I forgot that. You are from a
Everyone does.
very cool place.
People forget people live in Vegas.
Yes, this is very true.
People don't think, I don't know where they think everyone works that goes to the casino,
Right.
but they pretend like that's it. The script,
Yeah,
so
no,
I get
they
it.
definitely have to, live somewhere. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Stacy Ike, and I'm here joined with.
Michael Teemant. Hey, guys. How you doing? I don't know which camera to look at that one, I guess.
Look at your personal, have your moment camera. So we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna add a few more of our cast members in a couple minutes, but for now, we haven't been able to talk about a couple different topics that we've missed, which we hope you guys probably felt us through our tweets and stuff. We've been kind of keeping you in touch on Twitter, but let's jump into it. Mike, what do you want to talk about first?
I think the thing everyone's talking about is Charlie Hebdo to start.
Okay.
So
What did you think?
we have a satirical magazine that was attacked, 12 killed. I think it went up.
Yeah.
I think there were 2 more deaths after that.
Oh, I thought it was 11.
I think there were 2 people killed there was bullets fired outside and stuff.
Okay,
That was
okay.
attributed. Not in the office, but
Right.
at least that's what I read.
Right.
So, and then they came back with not only they put the Prophet Muhammad on the cover again, and it sold out over 5 million copies, and everyone's screaming about freedom of speech, and the
Yeah.
Muslim community is they're trying to find their roots. But the thing with the Islamic community that I really like this time around, and nobody's really talking about it, I don't know, but you're hearing a lot of moderate Muslims
Yeah.
who aren't on the extremist side
Agreed,
speaking
yes.
up.
Yep. Agreed.
And I don't think they get enough credit. I
Yeah.
think that these people, and what people fail to acknowledge when they don't speak up, is that they're really in danger by speaking up.
Yeah.
They're drawing attention to themselves. And so, people go, why don't the moderates speak up then? If you think you're in trouble for putting out a magazine,
Yeah.
if you say anything for these extremists, they're coming after you.
And what's really
Especially the
interesting?
Muslim.
I think that people. Okay, let me say, maybe Americans, I don't mean to put us all in a bubble, but we do have we like to capitalize. I'm sorry, not capitalize. We like to put you in a bubble, define you, and then send you off. We
Yeah.
like to know that this is, okay, there's only these type of people that live here. So if you have an extremist group, take out an action,
Yeah.
it's inevitable that everybody thinks that represents everybody else. So it's very interesting that you're bringing up the moderates that are speaking out and how
Yeah.
no one identifies it because they're like, then we have to write more, another paragraph. Let's just say that everyone feels this way and that everyone's marching and they don't really know what they're marching for, but let's just put it out there without, without breaking
Absolutely.
down who lives there, who's saying what and whatnot. So it's very interesting.
Well, it's an interesting item just because people get I'm so far off, and I like Bill Maher, but I'm against this. You're not solving anything by just attacking a group. There are millions, a billion Muslims out there.
Yeah.
And we're talking about such a small, minute, and by the way, we have it in America. I don't
Yep.
know why we pretend.
Yep.
The Klan is a Christian, wanted genocide. Everybody who isn't white, they want a white America. They have an agenda.
Right.
Let's stop pretending that it's just Muslims.
But I don't think they're as pertinent. Do you think? Do you think they're better
No, but
with...
that's because we did the right things to keep them back.
Okay.
We did things like first of all, Americans spoke up. People have to speak up. And for a long time, look at what the Klan did, though.
Yeah, true.
How many deaths are attributed to them? How many? And we let that happen.
Right.
Not just because, not even white people who were for the Klan, but scared of, what could happen to me.
Yes.
It's what happened in Poland with the Jews and the Nazis.
Right.
Not every Polish person who gave up Jews was doing it because those were friends.
Right.
Those were their neighbors, but they felt that if
They
I don't
feared for
give
their
enough,
life. They feared for their life. Yeah.
it's both of us.
Yeah.
It's that Sophie's choice.
Yep. God, okay. So what did you think about the outcome of the shooting? So we have, various comedians in America speaking out about it. We have people marching. But then there was also a couple articles of people saying that we should have been there marching with them, or we should have marched here, or we should, like what did you kind of see around the world with that?
I'm kind of glad we didn't, because some of the leaders of the world who are now screaming about free speech have journalists in their jails.
Yeah.
So,
for the same thing, you think? Or
no,
for
I know
similar?
for a fact they're in jail for speaking up against the state. So, there's a guy in Egypt one of Egypt's ministers came out. There's multiple journalists in Egypt that are in jail right now.
Interesting.
For sometimes doing satirical things. Not even straight news, or just an opinion about the administration they have.
Right.
And so, what are we really doing? It seems like another one of those causes that the media generated, because the media loves covering the media.
Well, see, okay, that was you said that before we started, and I think that's true, but I don't think that's the only reason that it became as big as it did. There's no way. I mean, there was 12 shootings in a office of people who were at work. I think whatever they do for work, bottom line is people were shot without, it wasn't, I don't think they saw that coming. There's no way in hell you saw that coming.
No, but you look at Boko Haram, and that's a way bigger story.
Yes, it is.
Okay, we're going to talk about a shooting that was unfortunate. Yeah. I don't think if we want to get back to the free speech issue, never should have happened. I don't agree with everyone I talk to. If you look at my Facebook, you'll understand I definitely don't agree with a lot of people I talk to. But you have to have that understanding, and no one should die for making a criticism. That's the first thing I've been off base with Pope Frank about.
Agreed.
I love Pope Frank. And then he goes, well, religion's kind of off. No, religion is just the same.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I think that the reason, if we go to Boko Haram and we talk about the 2,000 people that were killed, and it's such an unfortunate tragedy over I can't define it. I can't figure out a way to define it. But whatever the case is, I feel like it was really swarmed through award season. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like America is very corrupt. Like, this is award season. Golden Globes is happening, Critics' Choice Awards happening, all that, cutesy bootsy stuff is happening. And I'm not going to lie, when I get on the pages now, that's what I'm seeing.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like it gets flooded with those things where the Nigerian story is number 7.
And even more than that, though, is like, then when we get the serious
that's a small
story,
scale, but
we got the Charlie Hebdo story, and now we have, but that's, okay, so we have 2 stories break at the same time. How is that one more important than the other? And part of the reason is the free speech thing. And, I mean, I hear it from comedians, because I'm a comic. So, I hear it from a lot of my colleagues, freedom of speech is the most, but there's also 2,000 dead over here.
Yeah.
Nigerian government saying 150. I mean, free speech is important.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something to fight for, but that shouldn't be the story.
Okay, so you initially said that the Nigerian, I'm sorry, I can't even think right now. The Nigerian, government, yes.
Yeah.
So the Nigerian government, which I'm Nigerian, so there's a lot of parts that I'm like, tense about because I don't want it to be true, but I understand that it can be true, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So the Nigerian government, yes, is pretty corrupt. And then you mentioned that they came out with a statement that originally said that only 150 had died in this tragedy instead of the real number. Yeah. Now, can you tell everyone where they're going to find that article? Because I need to figure it out.
I believe it was Mother Jones. I'm looking through. I post way too many articles. Because
I didn't see that.
I'll put it on Twitter, guys.
Okay,
so
please.
check out my Twitter.
Check out Twitter.
I know it's on my Facebook, but that was the initial report by the Nigerian, and the reason that I think that was quickly taken out is because the UN was like, we got 2,000.
Now, like I said, do you think that they thought maybe it was initially 150? Do you think that's even possible?
No.
You don't think it's possible?
No, because the Nigerian government lied to us about how many girls were originally taken, and then we had to go in and find out, no, you're way underestimating. And then we found out that, unfortunately, Nigeria has a really corrupt government.
I don't think it's just about the government necessarily. Do you think they're trying to protect their people by keeping it a little bit shaded in some kind of way?
They're trying to hide the reality of what's going on to the majority of the poor people there who have no other source of information.
So what's the
It's
benefit?
not a conspiracy. What's the benefit? The
Yeah,
benefit
what's the
is
benefit?
The president looks better. He doesn't look at 150s way more better than 2000. They're already hiding the fact that this kind of the terrorist part of this organization came between the police and the army coming in and slaughtering over 200 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it really started. Mm-hmm. They've covered that up. People in Nigeria, from what I understand, don't understand that's what happened. They just think this is a group on a rampage. Turns out there is a backstory. And it doesn't look good for the Nigerian government.
So how are we getting the information, but they're not getting the information? I understand that we have a source of.
Do you remember Egypt and North Korea and Syria?
I'm not saying I don't remember. I'm saying how are these? It's just very unfortunate. Why would we be the one to go in and get the information, blah blah, and they
because we have the
money
and resources. Who in Nigeria? I mean, the people that are rich in Nigeria are making a lot of money off the poor. It's almost mirrored here, except they don't have the infrastructure to get information as easily as we can. They block a lot of things in Nigeria as far as websites.
I know. And there's some cousins I feel like I need to call now and be like, what's going on? Like, what do you know? What's happening?
Yeah.
But I mean, my family's from the South, and this happened a lot more in the North. So
yeah.
that's a little bit different. But just in general, I think it's really interesting because for them to say that, okay, we want the president to look better, okay, but then what? So let's say he knows the real numbers.
He doesn't really care. He's just a figurehead, and they're doing all kinds of corrupt things. I mean, they're under investigation with the UN. It's not a secret.
Yes.
It's a secret to the citizens
Right.
who don't know. They might be rigging elections. That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
They're being investigated for that. Mm-hmm. So they're just trying to get what they can as they can. And unfortunately, in a lot of countries, without the right kind of checks and balances and stuff, this stuff goes unnoticed by the majority of their population. Doesn't mean it doesn't go unnoticed here.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned that Boko Haram, the entire infrastructure of the terrorist group, is exactly the perfect way to, what'd you say, build?
It's the perfect way to build a terrorist organization.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is what we did there, or what we didn't do there, what the government did there, is when they originally came to their own in 2002, I believe. I'm going to get out my article. This was from Mother Jones. They started as a peaceful Muslim community. They were just a community. Two guys came out. They found this little village. People were killed even then because they're Muslims.
Right.
And there's a lot of hate down there between Christians and Muslims and stuff. So these
people are in the north, not the south. Okay.
Well, so things were okay for a little bit. Then around 2004, around 13 years ago, sorry guys. In 2003, they killed the majority of Boko Haram's members over fishing rights in a local pond. That happened from the police.
Right, I read that. Mm-hmm.
So you have that happen. More things happen. A traffic violation. They practice strict Sharia law, but they were peaceful to themselves. They had a cleric, and I can't find his name right now, but he is totally on board with Islam for all. So what happened was they went to courts, and then they end up getting in a fight with the police. They killed over 200 of them, and that's when they turned and said, you know what? Screw this. We're fighting back. And now they look at the state as the enemy. The U.S. police force could learn a lot from this. They really can.
That's scary.
Because it's what's happening now. You're starting to see the poor turn against the police where they can't even be good guys.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with terrorist organizations.
Okay, so
all of a sudden, they're the bad guys. They're not doing anything. They believe in Sharia law. They tried to live peacefully by themselves. Some corruption in Nigeria ended up screwing things up, and then finally the violence got to where now they're just both shooting. Violence begets more violence.
So what's their purpose in killing 2,000 people to prove what?
Because they're now on the side of Sharia law, where you're either with us or against us. So you either live or die.
If you're not Muslim.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what?
So they tried the peaceful route. This got in the way, and they kind of turned to, and this happened to Al Qaeda, by the way, back in the day.
I mean,
the same thing happened where Al Qaeda was okay. They were a little strict in their.
Little, Mike?
No, but I mean, it got worse over years. I'm saying in the beginning, it wasn't that bad. And then what they start learning when they keep getting attacked and stuff is they go, okay, we got to become militant to outdo it. And it's just a matter of this and that over and over again.
Look, that justification makes sense.
I'm not saying it's a justification. It's not a justification. It's what happened. You can say it didn't happen, but that's exactly what happened.
I'm not even saying that. I think I'm frustrated with the fact that you saying you start out peaceful. Okay, but people decide it's not right for you to say I started off peaceful, but then you decided you don't want to be on my team, so then I went crazy. It's like, well, then you were never peaceful. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm not. Well, and that's
Not
one of my
you,
big.
but
As
I'm
an
saying-
atheist,
I'm
that's one of my
saying to
biggest
them.
problems with
To
some of
them.
these books, is that they do induce violence, and some of the extreme. The guy they got was a kind of an extremist dude. I believe he came from Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a low key. Peace is Islam, and he was. His whole thing was Nigeria needs to be all Muslim. Mm-hmm. They came in, they tried, and then what did they learn? They learned hate. They learned that being peaceful didn't work, so they changed. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that's what happened.
I know you're not. I just think it's hard to register that information with, okay, well, they started out nice. Like when I saw the article, I couldn't really digest that somebody that you said started out nice, or that they said, they claim to have started a certain way, goes just completely left. I never.
It happens all the time.
It does. I think it can be, like I said, it's extremely hard to digest.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
with that, what do we do? And not necessarily us, but what. Do we take a world stand? Does the U.S. come and march up and stand up, or
we don't need
does
more violence?
Nigerian?
I don't know. I don't
Like, what do we
exactly.
do?
It can't come from outside, and this is what I've been saying. I mean, people disagree with me too, and that's fine. When they come after, you kind of got to let it. I don't want to say happen. That's the wrong way to put it. But the Nigerian government is the Nigerians are the only ones who can fix this. We keep trying to go into countries, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Egypt, and trying to fix these problems, and we're making them worse. You know why? Because they don't want our help.
Yeah.
This is a struggle going on in the Islamic community right now. And that's what I'm saying, is the big change is moderate Muslims are speaking up. So Bill Maher, shut up. Mm-hmm. They're trying to speak up now.
Yeah.
Let them speak and speak for them. And the more of them that come out and speak, the more feel comfortable. There's maybe, I won't even say 1% of Muslims. I would say that's an insulting number. Mm-hmm. An insulting number would be let's say 0.2% of Muslims are doing all this crap.
That's good.
There's probably a number out there. But
I like the smaller the better, because it is, like I said earlier, that we do have a very trivial way of looking at a group and using them to define everybody else.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's another thing. People might look at Americans, even if we are coming in with the best intentions, our past actions are not, they don't solidify that we can do this, that we can help without causing more trouble. So I think that's the hard part, because, okay, yes, you're right. The Nigerian government needs to step up. And then what? Do they need to go find them? Do they need to take them down? What do you want to see personally?
I mean, what do I think is going to happen to fix it, or what I most likely like to see? The real answer of what's probably going to happen.
I don't know if I want the real answer.
Is a lot of bloodshed, because there's going to be a revolution.
I knew I didn't want the real answer. It's just frustrating.
I know, it's not fun.
It's a hard topic, and I feel like I need to call my parents.
No, here's the thing. The Christians went through it at one point. This is the Muslims' turn, if you want to call it that. Everyone's had that point. The Christians had it in the 1500s. We like to pretend these things didn't happen in other religions.
The thing is, I don't think we're pretending. I think we have moved on. You take it's like MLK.
No, but you can't. But this, to me, the example is when it comes to understanding, like, I'm so ignorant on it. I'm reading nonstop, and I feel like the more I read, the less I know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people try to do what I did, and we take the last, 40 years, since the 70s, when the radicalism started, that trend started, to today, and try and figure out how to fix it. This is something that's been going on since 400 AD,
Yeah.
500 AD. We don't even know what happened between. We have books that kind of give histories, but we really don't even know what happened between the Muslims and Jews to make them hate each other so much.
Right.
Other than some religious stuff. But there were shots fired, and that's how far back it goes. And we're trying to come in and go, yeah, how do we clean up this 1,600-year-old problem?
But you're making it look like there's no possible solution.
No,
I mean, what? We can't stand by.
It can't. If it gets to where it threatens us, we do have to step in.
No, it's not just about us, though.
No, we're not the police. Everyone wants us to be the police.
I live here, even though I'm Nigerian, I live here. So sometimes it's for me, I'm like, I want my people, which
but look at them. Do they want our help?
Okay, forget us then. So if we go back to the Nigerian government, what do you want them to do? What do you want to see? And I know you said there's a lot of bloodshed happening, but what are the other protocols that are possible?
You can. Well, one, the UN, after these investigations, hope if these charges that they're saying are held up, is there enough corruption? That's when the world can get involved and go, you need to step down. We're coming in that way, and we need to let them get on with their own leadership. Mm-hmm. Kind of oversee it, make sure there's some elections, and let them kind of start. They have to figure it out. We can guide them a little bit, but only when they ask.
I can understand that. So why do we even? So then, if we're not necessarily going in it, then why do you want to see it covered so much? I personally, obviously, want to see it covered as well. But because it was an interesting topic to not.
I think we need to put pressure on the media to cover these topics that aren't just about. I mean, look at Charlie Hebdo. 12 people died versus 2,000. If it bleeds, it leads usually in the news.
Sure.
Right? I mean, that's just
Do you think it's a black-white issue?
Yeah, it's a country that, like I said, it's like, why don't we hear about shootings in Chicago every day?
Because they happen all the time.
They happen every day. That would take up, every day you'd have to read multiple articles about Chicago shootings. Mm-hmm. So they don't get covered. And unfortunately in Nigeria and other places, now we do cover some of those countries when they have something that we can get from them.
In terms of the bleeds
economic. Yeah. Like Colombia. Look at Colombia. Look at those countries. We obviously countries with oil. Saudi Arabia is not our enemy for some reason. No. Why is that? Oh, they have oil. That's why.
Yeah.
They're destroying the world economy in the time. Good
job, my gas is cheaper, so there's that. Okay. And I did fill up for $179. But okay, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know how to feel, I guess, towards the last part, because it is very interesting. We work in the media, so we're a little bit more sensitive to the fact that we'll see a story and be like, why is MSNBC? I mean, right now I'm on HLN, I'm on CNN, I'm on MSNBC.
Yeah.
I love HLN, but I only go on there if I want to talk about YouTube videos or, you know what I mean, or the hottest trending topic. There's no way I would look to them to see a Nigerian video about. There's no.
You know where I see it is Al Jazeera. They do the best news.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Young Turks too. I can throw their name out. They do an amazing job of covering the stories no one else wants to. BBC does a pretty good job.
Yeah. But see, I wonder what
the Guardian UK. If you want to read some great stuff, the Guardian throws it out. Mother Jones Salon.
I love a lot of these news medias, but it's just interesting because I wonder, the ones that we just mentioned, the last ones, what number do you think they're ranked? Like the BBC is probably ranked number 5 in comparison to number 1, which is the one that's probably more saturated or sensationalized.
It's the better news has always, I felt, come from the more educated sources.
Sure.
If that's I don't want to sound pretentious, but
we hear you.
People that do more in-depth reporting than just. I mean, normal people. They don't care either. That's part of the thing is people don't care. Mm-hmm. They cared when it was 186 Nigerian girls who were taken.
It was not. It was more than that.
I think what was the final count? It was 200 something.
2 something.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 3.
I remember the original was like 186 or something. But
I feel like it ended at 3, but go ahead.
When it was young girls, that's when people kind of cared. And now that it's like a whole village, it's like, oh, well, you know. I mean, there was a genocide of an Armenian city in Syria.
But I also think people
Christians.
protests of what they know. If I didn't know about the Paris story, I wouldn't be as affected by the Paris story. If I don't know the story, I'm not affected by the story. So if no one's talking about it media-wise, then they don't know. I'm sure I can go out today, ask 5 friends if you knew about the story, and they can tell me, oh, I heard about it, or I'm not sure. But
I can name 5 friends in the last 48 hours who I was like, yeah, we're talking about this story about Nigeria, and they're like, what happened?
See,
they didn't even know.
That's what I'm saying. So it's whose fault is that? Is that the media? Is that primarily media?
I think it's a little bit of the media because they give us what we want instead. I mean, part of the problem I think is the media became a giant moneymaker instead of what they used to be.
Yeah.
The news used to be about not making money.
Yeah.
It was generally until like GE took over NBC. The news was profit. They lost money on the news. But you know why they did it? They did it because it was the most important thing people should know. Mm-hmm. And since it's become all about money making, I watched ABC News. What are they doing? They were talking about George Clooney on World News. Never. I get mad when the Queen visits Canada and it gets in the news on World News. I'm like, that's not news. Unless she decreed that Canada is now the enemy of England, that's not news.
Did they mention Amal too? I'm sure George Clooney's new wife.
Oh yeah, of course. I heard about her at the Golden Globes, and I saw that before I saw the Nigerian thing. And I don't even look for entertainment news. I'm a nerdy guy who could care less about the Golden Globes.
It's very. I was just telling somebody that there has been a gap where now journalism for me, I went to school for journalism, so there was a part. So we went and we had a very. I was fed a lot of news. I was felt a lot of hard work. I was felt a lot of. But by the time I left, they were like, by the way, be a little bit open to entertainment. Okay, it's about to happen. Okay. Because by the time I graduated in 2012, 13, and it was around that time that it just was citizen journalism had taken over. The iPhone Live had taken over. It was it was definitely before then. But you know what I mean? So it's hard. You can't even get the 2,000 people died in Nigeria story without it being... without it just being so watered down. That's probably why some of the things that I'm saying or reading, I'm like, wait, it's sadder than what I read? It's more, what? There's worse? Because you don't see, they didn't give me that. They gave me, just like you said, what I wanted. And all I wanted to know was something bad happened and then maybe we'll fix it and that's all. Don't give me details. Don't oversay. I'm busy or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I keep posting, the real way to fight it is you put it in people's faces to the point they can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, people are like, okay, this is ridiculous. How many people dead? And people start caring. And people have to care to help the Nigerians get some power back. Yeah. The people, they need some power to fix their country. As is a lot of Africa, which is a lot of Europe's fault.
Very true. And I remember Rome, he asked a question, why do the Americans not care? And I want to relate that to government. What do you think they're thinking about it? Do you think they feel like they can be a savior in this situation as well? Do you think they're even worried about it? Do you think...
You mean Barack and...
Barack, his peeps, whoever works up there, I don't know him yet, but... what's the government take on it? Because I know they have to know.
They're looking into... I know we're providing some of the UN resource... we provide, 70% of the UN resources. Mm-hmm. So, we already have a vested interest. I think that's the best we can do. Mm. I think that's what we do when the people speak up enough. That's when we can kind of step in. But we need to not think that we can just march in, oust them, and go, okay, guys, take over.
Do you think...
And then we don't even do that, because then we just sit there waiting for other terrorism to happen and go hunt it down.
Yep.
Becomes a game of cat and mouse.
Yep, that's I was just thinking that. I was like, there's no way you march into a country, think you got it all. You don't live there. You don't know what are you talking about? So I feel like they do come in, squat a little bit, and then we figure out what the next situation is, and it could be worse the next time. You never know. So that's, I don't know. It's, again, frustrating.
Violence begets more violence. It's not going to end. If you think the military is the answer, have fun with that. It hasn't worked since the beginning of humanity. So,
hasn't worked since ever. But gosh.
A couple times it did. When you look at the U.S.'s separation from England, it was just financial. Didn't even really matter. How many good wars can you talk about that are actually oh wow, that was World War II?
Yes, I was like,
There's a few. I'm not saying they
Give
don't
me
exist.
one, Mike. God.
World War II, Civil War is a good one. But again, that's about economics.
Did
It
you see
wasn't about.
Unbroken?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, see it Unbroken. That's a weird plug. Anyway, you mentioned war, and I definitely cried a lot. So anyway, another thing is, do you want to hit lighter topics? Are we ready?
Sure, we can go.
Pause.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you thinking? What's your next topic in mind?
My next topic? Shoot, what was on the thing?
I kind of want to bring up the Bill Cosby comment. Did you see the latest thing he responded?
No. Oh, are you talking about when he made a joke on stage?
Yes. I mean, I know it's been a while, but I just haven't talked about it with you, and I really want to see what you thought.
It was, this is going to sound really bad.
Wait, pause.
Okay.
Before he...
As a comic, it was completely what he should have done.
Really?
As a stand-up, oh yeah, it was the elephant in the room, and it broke the tension. And I hate to say this, kind of a good joke. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying a judgment. But if he's performing, that was exactly what he should have done. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not mad at him. He's just doing what he's been doing for 50 years. Mm-hmm. I'm mad at the audience who gave him a standing ovation and showed up and sold out his crowd.
Yeah, they're idiots, yeah. Well, I don't want to say they're idiots. I don't know them. So we'll
at this point, if you're supporting Bill Cosby and putting money in his pocket, you're part of the problem. And it's part of the rape culture problem.
But there's still a very... Especially after Felicia Rashad came out, there's still
of course she doesn't think he did it.
Yeah, there's still a huge community that doesn't. I mean, who's gonna think he did it if you had a chance to?
You know that only 2% people want to talk about all these girls who come forward. How great is it to come forward as a rape victim? Please, someone tell me, enlighten me how fun it is to tell everyone you were raped.
Trust me, it's
so 33 girls, all for fame and glory, of which they'll get no money, just came forward for the hell of it.
Trust me, I've watched a lot of Law & Order episodes. It does not look fun. Like, it does not.
It doesn't.
So it doesn't
I would say
seem...
that doesn't sound fun either.
It doesn't. So like I said, there were definitely parts that were very, in disbelief and blah, blah. And then we kind of had our first talk, and that went interesting. And then, I don't know. I left it at a very just... only God will know kind of thing, because I'm not saying I see a lot of the women.
I can't say that.
But I see. I mean, you like you said, you've kind of been in the comic world and seen something or heard something, and that it was kind of prevalent in the world, which is ridiculous. But I think, unfortunately, women and men are definitely judging these women, and
that's the problem.
Yeah, that is a huge problem, and it's very unfortunate, because when they first came out, it takes a certain type of woman also to make all the other women look true or look like that. You know what I mean? So as soon as Beverly Johnson came out, people were like, "Oh my God, this has to be true now," because why would she come out and say anything like?
For me, it was what was that? She was from the '60s. She was a model. She was also a reality star. Oh no.
The short. I can't remember her name right now, but I know who you're talking about.
She didn't get along with Omarosa in that reality TV show thing. Janice
Dickerson?
Janet
yes,
Dickerson.
thank you, Janice
Sorry,
Dickerson.
thank you. I was like, why can't I remember her
She's
name?
the most damning evidence to me, because someone brought this up where they were like, Janice Dickerson talked about this in 2004, 2005, something like that. And she didn't use Bill Cosby's name, but she said exactly what she said when she finally came out and said his name.
Yeah.
And she was like, if you want to see how not fun it is to be a rape victim, Howard Stern's like, whoa, who is this guy? And I mean, as he should, she brought it up. I mean, he's just being a journalist.
Right.
He wasn't being rude about it. He wasn't being offensive or anything about it. He was treating it, and he's like, oh, you don't even want to say his name? And she's like, no, he's too powerful. I'm scared of what? And you can hear, but she said everything she said now.
Yep.
And you could hear the fear in her voice.
It's really crazy.
She has no reason to come forward just for the hell of it.
To be not Janice Dickinson, but it was just interesting because I saw the joke and I was taken back a little bit, and I definitely understand what you mean by as a comic. But wow! If you're gonna come out and say something, can you please just either address it and give us the stupid PR, give us something that's not.
Oh, he's not gonna. He can't, because that reopens the whole thing. Remember, so like he's going to criminal court over one of them. The girl from the Playboy house. Mm-hmm. So he can't, if he says anything could be used against him, and he's protecting his fortune.
He doesn't think that joke could be used against him?
No, it can't. It's art. I mean,
it's art,
but like any comic, you could find, I mean, I hate to say it, any comic would say that joke if they were being charged and it was open. I mean, not sticking up for the joke. I always feel like I have to say that as a comic. Not sticking up for the joke. But yes on the joke. Like, that was...
He has on joke, but not sticking up for the joke.
Well, I don't stick up for it because I don't like the guy anymore, and I'm not going to support him.
Right.
So I'm not going to laugh at the joke because, like, okay, that does close. But the people that were there
And
obviously
stood
don't
up.
think that he raped anybody.
No, they don't.
So they laughed at the joke as an, oh, look, he's joking about it, which is what I'm saying. He
Yeah.
released that tension
Yeah.
that I'm getting really nerdy about comedy right
Well,
now.
at first they were nervous to laugh, and then they stood up because they were like, "Wow, he defeated the odds," and I'm like,
Yeah.
blank, so it's just okay. And there's that. Another thing, I don't know if you just saw that Ray Rice's wife,
Yeah.
she just posted like a photo or something like that, and it. I would love to check out the Instagram right now. But you guys check this out. Maybe tweet us, let us know what you think or saw. But I heard that she just came out with a statement or a picture that said, "Man, he's the best husband ever." And I was watching it on TMZ, and they were, of course, and they were kind of going off and saying that, well, maybe she does really believe that. Maybe she believes he is the best husband ever, because when the punch happened, when the incident happened, they weren't married.
Yeah.
And so they were making a joke about how maybe he wasn't the best fiance, but now he's the best husband. And I just wanted to see.
I don't know if that's a joke. Ray Rice doesn't have any incidents since. He never before. And there was actually a really interesting thing that got brought to my attention via the Joe Rogan podcast. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about, and I got to find the article on this because I literally heard about it right before I came in here, but about how concussions, like everyone's talking about, he should know better. He's an athlete. Well, concussions and head injuries, they've found with certain people, that especially that in like high impact sports, MMA, stuff like that, their trigger is way shorter. So things that they didn't think, like people see these changes through these athletes over time where they become a little more tempered or a little quick to react.
Yeah.
And we need to learn about these brain injuries so we can not make excuses for people, but
So we
try
can
and prevent
treat-
this.
yes.
Because if that's what's going on, that's completely plausible if that's true.
It's plausible, but it's going to be very unacceptable for a lot of people.
No, it's absolutely unacceptable.
Yes,
We don't. People want to stay like, oh, then they're defending him. No, I didn't defend what he said. What I said was, maybe this is a current problem because domestic violence is higher in high impact sports, by the way.
True.
And I don't think it can all be attributed to just intensity.
All right.
And we're finding dead football players who shoot themselves in the chest and stuff and do these weird, outrageous things that everyone's like, that person did what?
Yeah.
And so I think we need to take a look for sure and make sure that, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah. See what
How much at risk are these guys?
So who do we want to look up for? Do we still want commissioners like
Roger Goodell. He
Thank
can go
you.
jump off a bridge.
Oh wow, that's a good one. Do we still want commissioners, or do we still want coaches? Who do we want to defend them, or not to defend, to protect in a sense?
I want scientists to come up with. First of all, now there's rules in place that make it better. Because it used to be that you used to have a concussion, they'd give you salts, and you're back in the game. Mm-hmm. And so you could get multiple concussions in a game. And they've stopped that stuff. Now guys sit out weeks. That never used to happen in the NFL.
Yeah.
So they're taking precautions. One, I think we need to see that concussion study the NFL still hasn't published. To this day, they still haven't published it because they paid $200 million in hush money to the union. And I don't know why they took that money without the concussion, because this seems pretty important to guys' livelihoods and families.
Yeah. Okay, well, I definitely just saw, like I said, I just wanted to see what you thought about that. I saw the picture, and she said the best husband ever, and of course the attack started on her, and girl, you're not learning anything, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway,
what do you think about when it comes to the, oh shoot, where did that go? Never mind, I had a sports question for you about that. Here we go. Would you let your kids, knowing what you know now, play high impact sports? You want kids one day, I take it.
Yeah. Because I'm what?
A woman.
I don't know. That's another thing.
I'm just joking, a lot of my stereotyping.
Because you're. I forget. Mike is crazy. I think I would, because there are things that I can do. There's precautions I know. I'm going to be I'm going to be protecting them. I'm going to know. I'm going to know more. We've had experiences. We know people we can look for. So you know what I mean? Like situations like this teach you. Okay, if you're going to have a son or a daughter, this happens to a daughter too, in sports. Then there are certain things you need to make sure they're doing throughout that process. So yeah, I think I can.
Okay,
I think I can. I think there's protection that can, that can happen. There's situations you might not be able to prevent.
Well,
but
there's a big movement right now of moms who want to like ban football.
Really?
Like, I think it was until age 12 or something like that.
I can get with it starting at an older age. Doing it at 8, is it really necessary? It's not. But
they just need to learn the game at that point, which is just teach them how to run patterns and flag football. That's
even
fine.
basketball, they're playing it at like 6, 7, 8, and it's like, that's a lot. Because I feel like there's this extra pressure on kids. You know what I mean? There's just extra pressure. It's different when you're an adult and it's like, okay, look, the pressure is coming from a certain that you can handle.
Yeah.
But I'm 7 and 8 and my dad's yelling at me. It's very confusing. So that is a very interesting topic. But I think so. I think I'd be okay with it because my parents let me play. So even though I couldn't, that's not the point though.
That was terrible.
Yes, me too. Okay.
That's why I'm on a show instead of on the field.
With that said, we're about to wrap up soon. Thank you guys so much for being here. Is there anything else you want to add, Mike?
No, guys, check out and read.
Maria Menounos.
Oh. No, it's okay. Check out my Twitter at Michael Teemant. I'm a little more active on Facebook, although I'm trying to be more active on Twitter. So
Good.
I'll start posting those articles on there too.
Yes, please.
And just be informed. Don't let we didn't even get to the Ted Cruz thing.
Oh gosh.
I totally forgot about that. Oh my God, he's going to be in charge of science. That is disgusting. Okay, we'll talk about it next week.
Pause for a moment.
But at Michael Teemant, you'll see it on the screen.
Love it. We will definitely get back to that topic tomorrow. Next Friday. And you guys let us know any other topic that you want us to talk about. Make sure you tweet us, hit us up on Facebook, especially Mike, because he definitely is active. He's the best. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace and also at my blog at NaomiLiving.com. We can't wait to see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Black
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.